An absolutely horrific shooting took place in New York City. I'll tell you about that and then get into, as this is a political show, what the political debate / discourse was that took place in the aftermath and just went off the deep end completely. But first, absolutely horrific. You had this shooter in New York City shooting and killing 4 people and then killing himself. And from what we understand, he was trying to get up into the NFL, the National Football League offices, but took the wrong elevator or something, and then just ended up shooting random people and taking their life. The gunman who murdered 4 people before killing himself in New York City on Monday reportedly believed he had CTE and was targeting the NFL's offices. He left a note later recovered with his body. 27-year-old expressed his belief that he had the neurodegenerative disease CTE. The disease is caused by extensive head trauma and is often linked to football. He played the sport in high school, but he wasn't in the NFL. One of the lines from his note was, "Study my brain, please. I'm sorry." Just absolutely incomprehensible. And one of the people killed was a police officer, and that was spoken to here by the NYPD commissioner.
But today, 4 innocent victims are dead. Among them is NYPD police officer Didarul Islam, 36 years old, 4 years on the job. Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero. I want to extend my profound sympathies to all of the victims and their families, and to the brave NYPD cops who today lost a brother.
Yeah, so our thoughts, our heart, our pain is with the victims and their families. And this brings us to now the political side of this, which is that right-wing media specifically, so you have normally in the wake of mass shootings, the discourse around guns and the regulation of guns. Makes sense. Is there any way through policy we could have prevented this? Often the answer is there's very good reason to believe that we could have, or on a statistical basis could minimize mass shootings like this with more common sense gun regulations nationally. But something completely different happened also. We'll get to that piece of it, but it was the allegation from a lot of really major right-wing influencers that CNN was being racist against white people by saying the shooter was possibly white before they knew much about the shooter. This is a headline about it, but let me show you kind of where this started. So Gunther Eagleman, what we've discussed before, originally posted this clip and quoted a CNN contributor as saying, likely a white guy. Now, that's not what was said. He said possibly, and this was when we barely had any information. But it's become the focus for a lot of people. Bizarre, mind-boggling. Let me show you the clip that was originally clipped and then some of the subsequent commentary.
Who he is?
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white. He's wearing sunglasses. He appears to have a mustache. And that picture has been distributed to every police officer in New York City, particularly has been sent to the phones of the search.
So they had one picture, and he said possibly, his law enforcement sources were saying possibly white, and then obviously we got more information about who this guy was, and the analysis shifted. But, I mean, look at this. Amid utter heartbreak, as we always, during these sorts of events, analyze what became of the media discourse, for some, it was about that moment. You can't make this up, Gunther says. The man pictured is likely a white guy according to the experts. There's nothing about this guy that could be interpreted as white. And I guess this was the only photo we had at the time. I mean, it's a pretty grainy... Yeah, obviously, I wouldn't assume that person was white, but he just said something that someone told him, and then they got more information and it was changed. It's unbelievable. And then more clips saying breaking, or I mean, this is the part, right? And also, he didn't say that. We just watched the clip, right? Unless there's another one, but eating his own words within a couple of hours. What do you think he was doing? Like, that changes the heartbreak of the story somehow? In a moment like this, in the fog of a moment like this, a lot of things get said that are incorrect. And then we got more information. But they're pushing it, and this was a lot of the analysis, as CNN has such an anti-white bias. How do you get that? And why is that your focus amid utter horrific heartbreak? Then Benny Johnson said CNN caught calling black New York City terrorists white multiple times. And look at the video he played at the beginning. It's a building collapsing with CNN's logo on it. Like very 9/11 looking building collapse with CNN's logo on it.
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. I have a big announcement to make. Over the past 24 hours observing the news cycle, I believe now in institutional racism as defined right here.
So they're making light of it there. I always show this to you because I just, as someone who does commentary, I never get this part of it, which is how can we exploit this for some weird political narrative? That's not the same as going, all right, what policies could we implement to keep people safer, right? And how can we have that conversation sensitively? But just random, oh, this was clearly a part of an institutional racism against white people by CNN, when a guy got a fact wrong. And maybe the photo was being shown. Maybe he hadn't examined it yet and was just saying what sources were telling him as they were trying to find the suspect and learn about him. Mind-boggling. Now, on the normal debate, you have John Kennedy, the Republican senator, saying this about gun regulations.
On Capitol Hill, probably beginning in the morning, there'll be the inevitable call by some of my colleagues for more gun control laws. We've got hundreds of gun control laws, Sean, maybe thousands.
New York has a majority of them. I live there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he almost certainly didn't get that gun from New York. We've talked before, the vast majority of crimes that are committed with guns in extensively regulated states come from states that aren't as extensively regulated when you're looking at these weapons that are capable of mass slaughter.
we don't need more gun control. We need more idiot control. And I don't know exactly how to do that, but I do know this.
Why would you say that and then admit you don't know how to do that? Well, here's one idea. What if we were better about preventing the quote-unquote idiots from getting the guns that are capable of mass slaughter, like I said? Okay. All of this is just hard to discuss without getting absolutely infuriated. But again, just such a painful, excruciating moment for New York and for numerous families.